Hey, how you doing today? Jim Hart back at you. I was not planning on going live. Well, actually, I was planning on going live today. Then some things came up, and I wasn't sure I was going to get in the time, but I have about 20, 25 minutes here, and I want to do a quick mini training. I want to share with you my 3-step process to picking the perfect business idea for your online dream business. And the reason why this came up is because this is something that I have struggled with for years and years, and it's just always been a problem of mine coming up with the right business idea. I finally hit on it, I think, a couple years ago, but for probably 10 years, I just flipped from idea to idea. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. I did a lot of businesses that failed. I had a lot of businesses that just I wasn't passionate about because I was chasing the money. And so what I want to talk to you about today is the 3-step framework that I found, that I use to develop and build my online business, and how I came up with the perfect idea, and how I also use this framework to identify the ideas that weren't a match. So once I discovered this framework, I went back and looked at some of my older businesses and realized that if I had used this framework way back then, I would have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort that just wasn't being used properly for my business. And it just wasted money. Years gone by. Opportunity cost. That we learned that in college, right? Opportunity cost. Yeah, there was a huge opportunity cost there because I was working on things that just didn't fit the framework. And so what I want to do today is I wanted to talk to you about those 3 steps of that framework and how I discovered a business that now to me is a very successful online business. And so I think this is something that a lot of people miss. And so the first question you need to ask, the first step of the framework is there a customer? Do you have a customer in mind that is going to buy your product, whatever that might be? We start with the customer. And well, let me just go through all 3 steps, and then I will talk to you about, and hold on, my wife is now texting me. Great, she picks the perfect time. Anyway, so the 3 steps are, the 3-step framework is, do you have a customer that's going to buy what you want? I'm going to go through these one by one. Do you have a solution that the customer will pay for? And then does the customer have a burning pain or a problem that your solution is going to solve? And if you think about it, if you have 2 of these things, and a lot of times with my businesses, I would have 2 of these elements, but you don't have the third, then you're not going to have a successful business. So let's look at this kind of in how this will work in practice. So let's say like for me, this came up a lot in the legal arena, right? This is why it's really difficult. It's harder for like an estate planning lawyer to build a business than it is for, like, let's say, a divorce lawyer. Because a divorce lawyer, if somebody's getting divorced, they need a lawyer, and they get served with paperwork, or they get served with some sort of lawsuit. They need to go to a lawyer. They don't know what to do. They've got a problem. They've got a burning pain, and they need to hire somebody now. Versus an estate planning lawyer, it's kind of like there's a lot of people who just feel like, well, they can't deal with the I'm sorry, I just got to text my wife back and let her know that I cannot talk right now. Hold on a second. Okay, so where were we? All right. So if you have a customer, apologize for that. So estate planning versus divorce versus an estate planning lawyer who, still people really need that service, but, death and estate planning is something that's way off in the future. And so I hate the beeps from the texting. So it's way off in the future, right? And it's hard for people to really understand that that's a burning pain. And so you've got a customer who needs something and maybe even has the money to pay for it. You've got the solution, but in this case of estate planning, there's no real burning pain there, right? People just don't feel it. And they're not going to do an estate plan. That's why a lot of people, they finally get their estate plan when they have kids, right? Because now you got kids. Now there is a burning pain. They don't want their kids to be, not taken care of if something were to happen to them. So that's a triggering event. Or when people get married. A lot of times when people get married, that's another triggering event where they'll go and get their estate plan. So hello, Anointed. Good to see you. So those are just some examples. There could be other situations where you perceive there to be a burning pain, and you might develop a solution to that burning pain. This is something that a lot of people do, is they go out in the marketplace and they think that there's a problem here, so they go and they just create the solution. But they don't talk to the customers to see if the customers will actually pay them for that solution. So this is another major problem, major mistake that a lot of people that are just getting started in online business do, is they spent months building a solution to something that nobody's going to ever pay for. And that's a huge problem, right? So that's the second type of situation you can fall yourself into. Another situation is, again, where you've got customers who have money, they want to pay for something, and they have a burning pain, but you just don't have a solution that's going to meet them where they are. And so this is not quite as common, because usually people have a solution to something, and either they don't have a customer that's going to buy it, or it's not a burning enough pain that somebody is actually going to pay for it. But you could have situations here where you've got a customer and they have a burning pain, but you just don't have the right solution. This is a situation where people, this is why there's so many people out there doing cancer research and things like that, trying to develop vaccines and other things of that sort, because you've got a burning pain and people need this medicine, but there's just no solution yet. But once that solution hits, it's going to be it's first person to cure cancer. That's going to be a very wealthy person. So that's a 3-step framework that I use. And so now every single business I start or build, I look at it from this perspective of, do I have a customer who, and it's important to note, when you say customer, do you have a customer who's willing to pay money? So you have to have somebody that's got money. So if you're, so let's say you are, this is why a lot of the foodie blogs, they come up, and a lot of them don't start off selling anything on their website. What they do is they generate money through ads. And the reason for that is they don't have a customer. The customer is really the ad companies. The customer is not, they'd like to think that the customer are the people that are reading their ads or reading their blogs, but that's not true. The customer is actually the ad companies, because they don't have, number one, they don't have a solution that people will pay for. Maybe they do have the solution. They have the solution on their website, and the solution is a lot of recipes. But there's a lot of people that are just Googling for recipes. David says, Hawthorne Law. Yes, this is still Hawthorne Law. We changed the name last week. Big news. So a lot of people, they do have, they'll go to these food. I do it all the time. I go to, we're looking for, I've probably got 3 pancake recipes in my phone that I really like. And so I just Google around, we'll make pancakes, we find a recipe for pancakes. And, but the way that the websites that put those recipes on there make money is by selling ads. Well, not by selling ads, but they put ads on their website. Usually they use an ad network, and then people click on the ads and then they make money. But you have to get a lot of traffic. So that's a good example of a business model where you have a product, you have a solution to a burning pain, you've got the burning pain, but the customer, it's a little bit less, it's a little bit more nebulous, I'll say. And so those are the 3 things that you really need to be looking at when you're starting your online business. And I'm happy to take questions about that if you want to leave comments below. But there's 2 other factors that are really important that you need to be thinking about. And those 2 factors are, number 1, are you passionate about the business? Are you passionate about the topic? And I like to say to people, if this is not a topic that you could imagine yourself doing a blog about, or building a YouTube channel around, or doing a podcast around for the next 3 years, it's probably not something that you're passionate about. Now, like I am passionate, as you can see right there. I'm passionate about the Cleveland Browns. I could talk all day about the Cleveland Browns if someone wants to talk about that. I know I'm a sicko. But I do. I'm passionate about the Browns. I love talk. I listen to their podcast like every day. I'm up to speed on everything that's going on. I probably could go into the front office and know just as much as those people do. Like, I know what's going on there. And I could talk about that. Now, that doesn't mean it's a good business model for me. But it's something I really enjoy. And if I started a blog about the Browns, I probably could do that. I could see myself talking about that every day for 3 years. But that's the question I have. Are you passionate about your business idea? Could you talk about your business idea for the next 2 to 3 years every single day? Through a podcast, through a YouTube channel, by writing about it on a blog, doing something like that. Could you do that? Because if you could, that's really necessary. I started an Amazon business a while back, and there was a burning pain. People had a problem. People were willing to pay me for my product, and I had a solution. I sold running paraphernalia and products. The problem was I was not passionate enough about it to write blog posts about it every day, to go live on YouTube talking about it, to go live on Facebook talking about it, to do a podcast about running that then touted my products. Like, I didn't carry that level of passion to it. For that particular point in my life, I was looking for a business because I was still a full-time, I still am a full-time lawyer, by the way. I don't want people to think I'm not. I am still a full lawyer, even though we changed the name from Hawthorne Law to Jim Hart. That's just because I'm trying to build my personal brand more around online business. But at that point in my life, I wanted to build something that I was not the front face of. And so I was looking around for products that I thought I could make money with on Amazon and build a business around. And that was one. And we did okay until I sold out of products and then just didn't renew. But that was an example of a business where I was looking at profit and I wasn't passionate about it. Now, mind you, I learned a lot about business when I did that. I learned a lot about importing goods from China and building, websites and doing all sorts of things and ads and everything. I learned all of it, and it was enlightening to me. But I did not have the passion that was going to carry me through building that and taking that business to the next level. I just didn't. It wasn't there. So, number one, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. Like, this is why I'm here doing another YouTube Live today, because I love talking about online business. I love talking about coming up with ideas for online business. I love talking about the mindset issues that surround this. And which is why I'm going to try and do these at least once a week. I don't know if it's always going to be on Friday afternoon or if they're going to be on other days as well. But for right now, Friday afternoon is kind of what works for me. And so that's kind of where I'm going with. I only have a few more minutes here, and then I have to leave to pick up my son from school. So that's number one. The second thing you need is you really need to lost my train of thought. Oh, if you're just getting started and this is the first time you've been building a business, then I highly, highly, highly recommend. And this is, if you take nothing else from what I've said today during this, 15-minute mini training, take this. Let me leave you with this. Pick a niche that's in one of the top 5 business markets. And by the top 5 business markets, if you're not aware of this, you need to be aware of this, because if you try and pick something outside of one of these markets, let me just tell you, it's going to be a lot harder. If you pick something, these are established markets that if you get in one of these markets, you've got an audience. The chances are you're going to have a business that's going to be successful. And so here they are. If you got a pen and paper, make sure you write this down. But you want to get into the health space. So this could be health and wellness. That's one. You could get into the fitness space. So I should say, by health and wellness, I really mean like weight loss, dieting, getting your body in shape, those type of things. And then it kind of goes over with the next one, which is basically, physical wellness as well. So you want to, running, personal trainers, what else? Any types of sports activities, those type of things. training plans, helping people lose weight, all that stuff. So dieting, losing weight, those are two of the major industries. The next one is relationships. So helping people to and sex, I should say. So helping people to find a spouse, helping people find a boyfriend, girlfriend, helping people to be more less socially awkward, helping people branch out of their comfort zone, make more friends, networking, those type of things. There's a lot of benefits to that. So that's a third one that you can use. So health, wellness, relationships, and then finance, money, wealth, anything around that. So whether it's investing in the stock market or personal finance or paying off debt, or that's harder because you don't necessarily have a customer that's going to pay you. Remember that the triad that I told you at the beginning. But that's a third thing. Anything related to personal finance, crypto, would fall into that category. So anything around that right now, trading stock options is another great one. Anything there, those are going to be really great businesses. So we've got, just to recap that, it's health and wellness, dieting, relationships, personal finance. That also along in those personal finance could be like productivity, business building, those type of things. Anything that's going to help people earn more money, I should say, whether it's through the stock market or through a business or through something else. Those are all fair game. And then obviously there's subsets of all these markets, but those are all great. And then the third one that you really need to look at is expensive hobbies. So this could be like golf, camping, tennis, rock climbing, anything like that. And you know what? I just realized I'm probably not going to be able to get my son in time for his class. I probably need to leave. I probably cut this a little bit too long. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. I've got a link down below if you're interested in learning more about my OB Foundations community and getting my full 10-step guide to building an online business. I actually did a 3-part video training. You can download that if you click in the description below. It's at obfoundations.com/10 steps. And I have to run. I got to go pick up my son. I'm sorry about that. I will be back next week with another live. Have a great weekend, everyone, and take care.